so Nathan Young has asked, if sponsorship deals for pro players didn't exist, okay, what golf clubs do you think would be the most used from the players on tour, from putters, wedges, irons and drivers, etc.?
That's a great question.
The best way of answering this, I think, is if you look at when Nike stopped making clubs.
Yes.
And they said to their athletes, they said, look, we'll still pay you the full amount because we're not making clubs, but we'll pay you to wear the apparel still. You go and use what you want.
I would then say I saw a trend of Mizuno irons.
Yes.
I saw a trend of TaylorMade woods.
Yes.
I saw a trend of Titleist Pro V1 golf balls.
Yes.
Wedges were a mixture.
Yeah, a bit of Oaky, a bit of whatever.
Yeah, I didn't see any real trends there. Putters, again, probably a bit of a mixture.
I'd say Odyssey and Scotty, typically.
Yeah. And I think that's probably a fair kind of... It's almost exactly what Brooks Koepka used.
Yeah, when he
stopped using Nike. He had a TaylorMade driver. He had Mizuno irons, which he won all of his majors with. Like I said, they might still keep a couple of clubs hanging around, some of the old ones. Like I can't believe he still got that Nike. Is it a long iron,
it was a 2 or 3 iron?
Yeah. That's incredible. He still got that in the bag. Honestly, and I mentioned it last week, I was really shocked. But then the more I thought about it, he's also using the Srixon ball as well, Z-Star. He's using a lot of kind of Srixon-y stuff already. So basically, it's a multi-million pound deal for using a driver and a different golf ball.
He was using the irons, wasn't he, on contract?
He was already using the irons. So probably more of a smart business move for him more than anything.
It's a funny one, isn't it? Because if you think of the big brands now, and I'm talking your Ping, Callaway, TaylorMade, Titleist, Mizuno, Cobra, might have missed a couple out. They don't make bad gear. They all make good stuff. And whether they make drivers, irons, wedges, and a ball, whatever, every department that said brands make is good. So, like, for example, Ping putters are good, the wedges are good, irons are good, drivers are good, etc. We all know Mizuno wedges are great, irons are great, drivers are good, ball, etc., etc. So you could sign for any brand, and even as an amateur, I know they don't sign out. Let's just say you sign as an amateur for a brand, and they gave you all the gear they make, you would get good stuff.
Yeah.
If you then think of that as being a tour pro, not only will they give you all the stuff and pay you to use it, they will also make stuff for you. So if you said to them, look, your current blade that you make at Mizuno, it's nice, but I wish there was a bit more bounce or offset or whatever, or less offset, less bounce, whatever it might be. Yeah, or a bit more of a grind here. They will do that for you. And even the likes of TaylorMade now, there's so many different irons they have for their tour pros. So you do think in one way, as a tour pro, any brand will make you what you want. But equally, on the flip side of that, it is quite hard to find, just even to your eye, that every piece of equipment a brand makes and how it feels is going to be perfect for you.
Yeah.
So I think that these guys that use mixed bags are onto something. But obviously, there must be a hell of a lot of money up for grabs for people like Rory and Tiger and Brooks, etc., now to be signing these deals.
I think the other thing that I saw a lot with TaylorMade as well. TaylorMade used to have a lot of players on their books, and they decided to go down the route of just signing the kind of superstars, and they had more of a smaller stable, but the biggest of the big names. I think sometimes as well, some of the big names don't always like to be in the same stable as other big names.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody is as big as Srixon than Brooks Koepka right now.
Yeah.
You've got Shane Lowry, obviously Open winner a couple of years ago. You got Graham McDowell, obviously major winners in the past. But
Matsuyama,
that's a fair shout. Yeah, major Masters winner.
We've got a few major winners
ago. He's probably going in there as top dog.
Oh, yeah.
Really. Where he doesn't do that in TaylorMade, for example.
True.
Bryson has gone with Cobra because he is top dog at Cobra. You know, and I think part of signing with these brands as well is to be top dog. Mm. Like, everybody's going to jump through hoops to make you as happy as you can. As their star tour player, it's a bit like when Justin Rose went to Honma. It was because he didn't particularly feel maybe as what's the right word?
As loved
at TaylorMade, potentially. He could go to a new brand, and he is their pin-up boy.
100%.
They will do anything for him. It didn't quite work out, but they would do anything for him. And I think that's somewhat of an appeal for some of these tour players, that they get literally, they would have there, and Srixon are going to be all over Brooks Koepka, giving him everything he could ever want. It's a bit like Bridgestone with golf balls. Really, they only have Tiger and Bryson.
Yeah.
They'll do everything. If Bryson says, I don't like the Dimple 4 on this golf ball, they'll change it for him.
That, I think, even though I don't use a Bridgestone ball, they've got such a following. Every time you ever put anything on social media, people say about Bridgestone balls. I think in having those two athletes, they probably will have more, obviously, but the two main ones, it's so clever because obviously Tiger Woods is the greatest of all time. So even though people know he's getting paid squillions of pounds to use their golf ball, it also has to be a good golf ball for him to use it. Then on the other side of the coin, having Bryson, who's kind of scientist, who's looking for perfection, looking for distance, to have him using your ball, you think, well, again, he wouldn't use it if it wasn't giving him everything it could. So it's kind of like the two that they've got are super clever at Bridgestone.
I wonder why they've not. They've probably moved up the ladder in golf ball priority or want. I wonder why they're not really kind of pushing on. Like what? Like
instead of signing more athletes, do you mean?
Or just becoming more of a popular golf ball. Or is it really popular in America?
I think it must be bigger in America. Because over here, they're not that big.
They're
but
not
yet,
really.
The amount of comments we get and stuff, people love it. I think it must be bigger in America.
That's true.
Speaking of these amazing athletes and what's in their bag.
I think you're going to say talking about big balls.
We'll talk about big balls in this podcast.